Tonight we want to talk about how does someone know when they're a sex addict. You know, I'm often asked, how many affairs does it take to make a sex addict? The truth is, sexual addiction must be a real rewarding kind of thing. Organize your whole day around using sex as a way to get to sleep. Now you might ask, what kinds of things do sex addicts do? Masturbation, heterosexual behavior, and I'm including also things like prostitution, pornography, homosexuality. And you might say, well, now hold it just a minute. I'd like to start just talking about masturbation for a bit. You know, we could spend this whole evening talking about masturbation. Everybody in this audience has a masturbation story. I remember my father's first masturbation. Every time you masturbate, you lose sufficient starch from your body to be the equivalent of a 7-mile hike. Now for me, I figured at the rate I was going, I should be crippled. Consider a man who's 45 years old. He's masturbating 4 or 5 times a day, and his whole day is sort of organized around his masturbation, masturbating in his car. When you have someone who literally is told by her physician that the vaginal infection that she has is so serious that if she masturbates or continues to masturbate, her life is in jeopardy. And then what she does is she goes home and she masturbates. And I have a guy who comes, and what he does is he always sits in a chair and he tries to get as close to me as he can. And when he does, oh. And the first time he did that to me, it was very, very distracting because, I mean, I just thought, oh my God, if you masturbate with those sutures, you're permanently going to injure yourself. And you go home and you masturbate. Cultivate that level of preoccupation as an ongoing, daily, sometimes hourly preoccupation. 45% of the men and 33% of the women masturbated to the point of injury. Masturbation is not normal. But it's more than just masturbation. We're also talking about heterosexual behavior. It's things like exhibitionism, voyeurism, obscene phone calls. If you don't want to risk the arrest of making an obscene phone call, what you can do, you can call your local crisis hotline and talk to some well-meaning young volunteer about your masturbation problem as you masturbate. Pornography is a very, very expensive habit. And he had his pornography stashes all over. It's a 20-year collection of pornography. When she added up how much in real dollars that pornography collection was valued at, it was over $750,000. You know, what we don't realize about pornography is this. We spend more on porn than we do on Coca-Cola. Well, usually we have a lot of fun in talking about that when I was teaching the police officers. And sometimes they are literally stunned at how many people have touched them. Another type of behavior in level 1 that I'd like to talk to you about is homosexual behavior. And I have to tell you, as a professional person, and you see, my belief is this. I'd go to a party, and I'd see a man that I wanted to seduce, somebody I didn't know, and I'd go up to him, and in the first 90 seconds, I would tell him something very personal and inappropriate about myself sexually. And he'd be so taken off guard, I'd find that very arousing. And because of my unworthiness, because of my unlovability, I would get into what I call emotional flashing, usually with anonymous men in parks. You're gone 3 hours, you come back, you walk in your living room, and your kids are sitting on the couch and they say, okay, Dad, where did you go this time? If you can think of those times in the spring when you have felt particularly sexual, you know, I mean, just everything sort of felt sexual to you, you know? I mean, squirrels aren't safe in your presence. They sexualize everything, right? Now, touch is wonderful. I want to stop. I didn't mean to be doing this. Women exhibitionists, you bet.